So how do you know if you have a rare quarter? In this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to make sure you aren't missing any rare quarter worth potentially thousands of dollars. Welcome back to Old Money Prices. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about rare coins and paper money, start now by subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. Let's jump right into the video. Up first, we have a 1932 25-cent MS Washington quarter rated by NGC in mint state 67. Now, 1932 is one of the more rare dates for Washington quarters, but because this one graded so highly, this is why it brought a lot of money. This one sold for $4,800. So if you have a 1932 quarter that looks really nice, it may be worth getting graded and selling. Up next, we have a 1951 D standing for the Denver Mint, where this coin was minted. 25-cent coin. Now this one was graded by PCGS, a mint state 67 plus. Remember, the highest grade you can get is 70, so this one's getting very close, and the plus grade means that the grade is really nice for its grade. Now remember, these 1951 quarters are made out of 90% silver and 10% copper. This one sold for $3,120, mainly because of how high it graded. Here we have a 1950 D 25-cent Washington quarter graded by PCGS, a mint state 67 plus, and this one sold for $3,120. Here we have a 1950 D over S 25-cent Washington quarter graded by PCGS, a mint state 66. Now what you have to look out for on this one is when you flip the coin over on the back bottom there where the mint mark is struck, you're going to see a D over S. So this coin is considered an error, and if you ever have one of these, it can be worth a lot of money, especially in the higher grades. Sometimes it is hard to see this mint error, so you're likely going to have to use some sort of magnification to see it, but you'll be able to see a D over an S mint mark on the back, and if you combine that with the high grade this coin got, which is a 66, that's why this coin sold for $8,812, and you could possibly find these type of coins. Here we have a 1942 D 25-cent double die obverse coin graded by NGC, a mint state 62. Now what you want to look out for on this is any sort of doubling on the coin. You can see that by looping the coin, by looking at it under magnification. You can see it's a little bit hard to see on this one, but in Liberty, in God We Trust, and the date is going to be doubled. That means during the minting process, the die came down and struck the coin twice, leaving a doubling impression, and depending on how dramatic that doubling is will dictate how rare and valuable it is. So the more obvious the doubling is, the more valuable it's going to be. This one graded MS 62 by NGC, and this one sold for $2,875. Here we have a beautiful 1942 25-cent Washington quarter graded by NGC, a proof-like 68. Now remember, the highest grade you can get is 70, so that's really close. Combine that with the fact that this is proof-like, and the reason it got the proof grade is because look how shiny the coin is. If you have a coin that's really lustrous and it almost looks like a mirror when you're looking at it, that means you could have a proof coin. So if you have a 1942 quarter that looks really nice, it may be worth getting graded because this one sold for $1,380. The last coin was a 1942. This is a 1943 S mint mark, S meaning San Francisco, 25-cent Washington quarter, and it's also a double die obverse graded by PCGS, a mint state 66. Now if you look a little bit in Liberty, in God We Trust, and the 1943 date, you're going to see a little bit of that doubling, which does increase the value quite significantly. This one sold for $2,100, so get your loops out and make sure you're looping your coins. Same date but different mint mark. This is a 1942 D 25-cent Washington quarter with a double die obverse graded by PCGS, a mint state 65 plus. Again, look at In God We Trust. You can see a little bit of doubling. It can be really hard to see at times, so that's why you need to spend some time and look at the coins under a loop. That in combination with this really high grade of 65 plus, which is why this one sold for $1,800. Here we have an Air Washington quarter. This is a 1965 struck on a 90% silver planchet graded by NGC and AU 55. AU meaning almost uncirculated. This is considered an error coin. It's important to remember that any quarter with a date earlier than 1965 will be silver. So essentially this quarter shouldn't have been struck on a silver planchet. This was a transitional period for the mint, and this one is not even uncirculated. It is almost uncirculated, which is crazy because this one sold for $8,400. This one sold for a lot of money, guys. This is a 1932 D, 25-cent Washington quarter, graded by PCGS, a mint state 65. Remember, the 1932 date is really, really rare, and you want to get the coin in a high grade, and this one sold for $18,000. So look out for the 1932 D. Hit that subscribe button. It really does help out with the YouTube algorithm. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one.